Okay, so a lot of people have been talking about this game in the RTS community, of course. Anytime someone even mistypes RTS, one after the other, like we gotta know what's going on. So if you haven't seen Gates of Fire, this is what Gates of Fire is.
When selecting an immortal, 2 units of the base faction are replaced with the immortal's unique units. These are called vanguards. In this battle, we are playing as Orzum, Arash of Reclamation. Everyone starts with the same basic tools: a town hall structure and some workers collecting alloy, the primary and most abundant
This is basically like Protoss.
Construction in Immortal is easy. There's no need to select a worker.
This isn't the
Just press
only
C and bring up your building.
variations you can make.
Press a hotkey for the building you want to construct.
There are actual
And
races
left
and
click on the
factions
location
and
you'd
stuff.
like to build.
This isn't the
game
only
will
race.
automatically select the best worker for the job and send them back when they're done. Ether is the second resource in Immortal. It's less common than alloy.
Wait, so I gotta highlight some things. So, base building is much easier in this game. So he said, like, you select the building and it'll just choose the closest thing nearby. There's not a lot of micromanagement on specific workers and stuff like that. Some stuff is automatic in terms of like which
And
unit is
left click on the
selected.
location you'd like to build. The game will automatically select the best worker for the job and send them back when they're done.
Right.
Ether is the second resource in Immortal. It's less common than alloy and is required for
So
making
we got
more
alloy and
advanced
ether,
units and structures.
literally
To
minerals and
start
gas.
collecting ether,
Like just
build an
right
ether
off the rip.
extractor by pressing C, W, and left
You
clicking
know, we know what
over
this
the ether
is.
node.
This is very heavy. Obviously, it's
In
very
Immortal,
heavily
ether is
inspired by
extracted
StarCraft
automatically by the ether extractor.
because of where they
No
came from.
workers are necessary. Build a lead.
One thing I will note. Hold on. I don't want to pause too much. There are very few mineral fields, or whatever the fuck they call them, the alloy. It doesn't seem very focused on like building up workers and having a lot of economy. It really does seem like they just kind of want to bypass that stuff. The idea of this game is to make it a much simpler RTS to let people get into the game while also trying to keep the skill cap still high. So there, there is a little bit of that, but I'm hoping
Lead
it's a
some troops
balance.
to defend it. Build a Legion Hall by pressing C, E, and left-clicking the building location.
It's very focused on it. Can
Legion Hall is part of
confirm.
a category of structures called
Well,
production structures.
There's like the
Production
pyre and
structures
stuff,
are
but it
where
really
your
doesn't
army is
seem
built.
very focused on
They
it.
also increase
I mean,
army
from my point of
capacity
view.
or army cap. Now that we've assembled an army, it's time to fight for Pyre.
Pyre,
Pyre
bro.
is the third most precious resource and is used to power your immortal's global abilities. Everyone receives a slow, steady feed of Pyre, which can be supplemented by fighting creep camps. Of course, your enemies are going to want this extra Pyre too, giving you a good reason to get out of your base and onto the map. Orzum's spell, Pillar of the Heavens, is both an offensive and defensive ability. Allies within the pillar's radius receive a significant damage buff, while
So
enemies
this,
will take
I believe,
area
is a
effects
pyre
damage.
ability.
All immortals can summon special buildings called towers that help you defend territories by giving vision, some damage, and a ton of hit points.
I'm not entirely sure if that's
Army
a pyre
control
ability.
is directly under your fingertips. All basic abilities are accessible instantly, with advanced abilities on the spacebar. Attack players
So
when they're
immediately the
expanding.
thing I'm worried about
Expanding
is
is
like
expensive.
if they can balance expanding for the normal 2 resources versus like going all in on pyre immediately, right? Like it's gotta be worth it to expand instead of pyre and vice versa. But I think there's actually a lot of potential with that concept of like balancing pyre, trying to get camps, whatever you gotta do, versus just trying to get the more basic mineral gas type stuff. But there's something there.
Defend your territory when you scout an incoming attack. It will take time for enemy troops to make their way across the map. That's time to get your defenses set up and time to produce additional troops that will.
I will say, them choosing this race to showcase like everything may be a little bit scary for them because of these fucks. These huge gliding things make me hate this video, to be honest. This race. I hate it already, just looking at this thing. I don't know what it does, but I hate it. It looks like annoying. It's huge. I don't even know if it's doing damage or if it's like buffing stuff. I couldn't tell you, but I don't like it. I don't like this one unit. I want it to be smaller. It's too big. It's just, I see so much of it. I think it was even bigger in the past. I swear I've seen Azure was telling me about these units being huge. I was like, what are you talking about? They're like, they're big, but they're not that big. And then he showed me of like an even earlier video, and they were even more massive. Just make them smaller. I'm freaking out. Yeah, I got PTSD because of carriers. Just get them away from me.
Arrive during the battle.
I don't want to see this race.
Core elements understood. You're ready
to
enter the flow of Immortal gameplay. Sun Tzu said, all warfare is based on deception. And Immortal is no different. Every step of the way, try to deceive your
opponents. Like, I hate this.
Make the wrong decision.
Why are they over the cliff? I hate that.
If you have the high ground or other defenders' advantages,
get it away from me.
Try to coax the enemy into an attack by slowly chipping away at their army with a few long-range units.
This guy's about the GG.
Try to time your attacks when your opponent is most vulnerable. Keep
those are the pyre abilities coming in.
And scout for tech structures to know when it's a good time to strike.
I assume.
If your opponent is defending their base, take control of the map. Deny scouting attempts while you build your expansions.
Hold on. That was kind of interesting. So this is an enemy turret sieging a base. So it seems like you can kind of make turrets anywhere. But they did say, like, you know, towers aren't that good. They're just kind of strong. But that's an interesting idea to attack with. It seems like there's things here. You can kind of see little things here.
Story told by the players. Explore creative ideas and develop strategies.
Get them away.
Weaknesses and
what the fuck is? Are they on a throne? There's more of them.
And leverage them
what
to
is
your
that?
Advantage.
I hate it.
World of Immortal and cooperative
They're just sitting
missions.
there.
Jump into 1v1 or team up with your friends in 2v2 and 3v3. Welcome to strategy for everyone.
I like how their example, like me as an untrained eye in this game, right? I don't know what's going on. It looks like you just put like a 1v1 in 3 different examples, but then you just added more units to every example. Like, looking at it now, I can see that you're just green and stuff like that, but it's just... When I first watched this, I had no clue there was a difference. I just felt like they just showed me more stuff.
Welcome to strategy.
So yeah, there's welcome to strategy for everyone, hopefully. Hopefully, for most people. That's the idea, right? They want this to be friendly for newer players, for people just getting into the game, which is a very bold thing to do. It's something that needs to happen. I don't know to what extent, but it needs to happen. Oh wait, this is actually really important. Actually listen to what he's saying. He's actually saying really important stuff.
Whenever people saw something that made the game easier for new players, the assumption was that it changed the experience of the high-level players by the same amount. And so we went through and meticulously kind of picked out all the things that would change the skill ceiling by a very small amount, or by 0, and then drop the skill floor dramatically, which sounds insane, and it is a little bit, and we did it.
I will fucking fight somebody about this. When I heard that for the first time, I actually got angry. And I want them to do it so bad, but I get a knee-jerk reaction. I can't help myself. I will literally punch someone in the face over this topic. My only interest in this game is to see if they can actually do it. Because what they're saying is, what they essentially said is they reduced the skill floor so low, and the skill ceiling is still pretty much the same, right? Surely it can't be exactly the same, but like it's such a insane, like it's just gotta be for marketing, right? There's just no way. And you know what I'm mad about is like, how dare you put that in my face, right? Because if you could do that, it would be the second coming of Christ. And I want them to do it, but I just don't believe.
Immortal setting creation is expansive and dramatic.
This guy's cool as fuck. I don't know who this guy is, but I just like this guy a lot. I just want you guys to know I like
encompassing entire star systems,
galaxies. It feels like he just gets
effectively an entire universe worth of potential. We draw heavily from science fiction, high fantasy, and cosmic horror to create a unique blend of drama and tension that we want to give to our players in our community. We've had years of creative input, systemic input from all of our developers, and that's something that we really prioritize.
Every situation that we
Like, I didn't want to believe in this game until that man went on the screen, and I just wanted to believe in it. This guy as well. I like these two people the most, just right off the
Everybody
rip.
brings passion. They bring their thoughts and their ideas.
This guy seems cool.
To the situation.
I also have no
But
fucking clue who
nobody's
this guy
married to
is.
them. And we hash things out, and we come up with the right answer together, not the answer that we brought with us. And so we had decided that we were all committed to each other and committed to making things happen.
Hung out with him in Santa Barbara years ago.
So we burned the boats.
Damn.
There's no going back.
Twerk's in. Twerk's got connects. Okay, I talked over the last bit, but it basically just said that they can't commit to one idea. They just have to keep adapting, right? Because that's just game development. There's just no way you can commit to one idea and stick with it all the way through. It's incredibly hard. So yeah, it's pretty hype. That's a pretty good that's a good video, which I think is cool. Like this is definitely the thing, right? This is the whole thing about Gates of Pyre. Like what makes this game decent, like what makes it like possibly good is like the abilities that you can do with the commanders. And like that's what I'm looking for when I see like these little snippets, like these choices of immortals and whatnot, and what you get from them, the different units and abilities. Because my brain immediately goes to like what makes someone different from another person. And when you're reducing mechanics, something else has to come into play. So this is definitely going to be the big emphasis on like what makes or breaks it for me. I think it doesn't really matter what it actually is right now in like the pre-alpha, like whether Pyre's better or expanding's better or like what that ratio is, as long as like there's a really good foundation of like abilities that are just like fun, like that are pretty cool. Like as long as I don't have like an ability that is literally just a Tempest and I'm just hitting someone's base from like 20 yards away, I'll feel pretty good about most abilities probably. But yeah, like if it's just like a circle that just buffs stuff, like that can always be tweaked. How much it actually buffs, like that stuff's fine. Because the emphasis at the end of the day is just like the game needs to be actually fun. I think a lot of people get caught up in this is the game easy enough? Is it too hard? Like are the macro mechanics like what do we do about this? A lot of people kind of forget that the game actually just needs to be fun, like just straight up. Like that's actually just the most important thing, is that like whatever the abilities are, they're just really fucking cool. And like the abilities, but as well as the units, like the unit sets and the stuff that comes with that. Because right now I'm very optimistic. I would say on like what it could be, but as it is, I don't feel really too interested. Like if I could play this game today, like maybe I'd play for an hour or two. But I'm just very hopeful for what it could be, to be honest. Because right now it looks like these fights just look so clunky to me and not fun. But I'm hoping just like with fine tuning that just will naturally be improved. Like, it feels like I shouldn't be judging too much like how these units are moving, but I can't help but look at them and feel like whatever, I do have high hopes for the future of this game though. Seems like it could be very good as long as they can kind of balance it between the resources and not make it just a micro fest. Because I think if all you have to do after all the macro mechanics are made easy in one way or the other, all there is to do is micro, like that's kind of problematic. I think if all you have to do is micro, as far as like differentiating yourself from other players, it's really terrible. But there's no way they'd make that mistake, right? Surely they wouldn't make that mistake. Fingers crossed. All right, well, that's pretty much all I have to say about Gates of Pyre. I think there's a lot of things that could be really good, or it could just fall flat. It's actually just kind of in limbo, and it's hard to say where it's gonna go. I have very high hopes. I don't necessarily know this team And even the people I do know, I don't necessarily trust, but I will be keeping an eye on this game and kind of play by play, see how it goes. Hope for the best.